and number 9. Number 10. Okay, if you look at number 10, we're not going to do that one, but it's example 4 from yesterday. So if you can do example 4 from yesterday, you can do number 10. It's the same exact thing. All of these problems on here, I have taken from your notes. So Monday's notes, I picked 4 problems from Monday's notes. That's the front page. When it says find the discriminant in the solution, that's from Tuesday's notes. I took them straight from there. Okay? 9 and 10 are from yesterday's notes. None of the problems that are on here, none of them, are new. Okay, and your quiz looks just like this. All right, so I'm going to start with example 4. We've got x squared minus 11 equals 10x. Is this in standard form? What do I need to do? I'm going to have to subtract 10x from both sides. That will give me a 0 on this side, which is what I want. Here's a huge mistake I noticed first hour. You must put them in the right order. Remember, x squared comes first, and then what comes next? Negative 10x, okay, because that's where the x's are, minus 11. Remember, you can't combine any of those because one has an x squared, which doesn't go with an x. One has an x, doesn't go with any of the others, and one's a number all by itself. You can't combine any of them. Okay? All right, next I'm going to label it A, B, and C. A equals 1, B equals negative 10, C equals negative 11. You're going to put it in the quadratic formula. It says in the directions at the top, solve using the quadratic formula, which is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. These equal x. Okay. There's an app on the iPads that you can get to work on this when I'm done teaching, where you can plug in what A, B, and C are and see if you've gotten the right answer. You must set up your problem, though. You will not get credit for the review or for your quiz if you do not set up the problem. So I'm going to rewrite the equation I'm going to stick it in so that I can see what I'm doing next. First, I'm going to plug in where A goes. A goes at the top next to the 4 and at the bottom next to the 2. Next, I'm going to plug in where B goes. B goes right next to here, the top one, right in here where it says squared. Finally, we've got C. C goes right here after A on the top. Okay. Next step, you're going to plug into your calculator everything underneath the square root. Not the square root, just everything under. Watch what I'm going to rewrite it up here, what you're going to plug into your calculator. Parentheses, negative 10 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 11. Right here, that's what you plug into your calculator. What do you get? 144. So now we go minus a negative 10 plus or minus the square root of 144 all over 2 times 1. Does everybody see how that works? If you're confused about how to plug in the calculator, you got to tell me. Piece of. Okay, so we're gonna get. Okay. We're going to get 10 plus or minus the square root of 144 all over 2, because 2 times 1 gives us 2. What is the square root of 144? 12. So now I have 10 plus or minus 12 over 2. Okay. Now we have to split it up, and we get 10 plus 12 over 2 and 10 minus 12 over 2. Okay? 10 plus 12 is 22 over 2. 10 minus 12 is negative 2 over 2. You're going to get x equals 11 and x equals negative 1. Here's the problem, ladies and gentlemen. If somebody's got a calculator out, try plugging this in your calculator. 10 plus 12 divided by 2. What do you get? You get the wrong answer. You have to do 10 plus 12 first, then divide it by 2. You can do this one of two ways. You can first stick in 10 plus 12 in your calculator and then equals, and then divide that by 2. Hey, Jalen, you paying attention to what I'm doing? Okay. Or you can put this in parentheses. If you put these in parentheses and then divide it by 2, you will also get the right answer. Any questions about how to use the quadratic formula? 1, 2, and 3 are exactly the same as we did. Any questions? All right, let's move on to the discriminant. Let's move on to the discriminant. We're going to do number 8. We have 3x squared minus 7 equals 2x. To find the discriminant, it must be in what form? What must all of them be in? Standard form. So I have to have a 0 or a y on one side of my equal sign. I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. These cancel, and I'm left with 3x squared minus 2x minus 7 equals 0. Next step. What's A, B, and C? A equals 3, B equals negative 2, and C equals negative 7. Remember, the discriminant is just b squared minus 4ac. Okay? So it's whatever squared minus 4 times whatever. So b squared is negative 2 minus 4 times 3 times negative 7. Okay? Negative 2 squared is 4. 4 times 3, we get negative 12 times negative 7. So we have to do negative 12 times negative 7, and we get a positive 84. 84 plus 4 is 88. Is this positive, negative, or 0? How many solutions does a positive answer have? Next, we're going to graph number 9. You'll have to graph number 10 on your own. Remember, get out your notes from yesterday if you have trouble with it. Number 9, x squared minus 2x equals 3. Okay. First of all, is it in standard form? Before I even start, it says solve. What does solve mean? What are we going to have to find? The what? Which would be what? Michael, sit up, please. Which would be the roots where it crosses the x-axis. When it says solve, that's what they want. Write this down, please. Now you're going to have to subtract 3 from both sides so that we get it in standard form. Remember, we've got the x squared first, then the x, then the number by itself. Then it is in standard form. Which step did I just do of your graphing quadratic equations? Step number 1. It's right there, guys. It's on the board. Step number 1. Step number 2 would be what? A, B, and C. Tabitha, can you tell me what A, B, and C are? Thank you. Haley, can you tell me what I do next? It's in standard form. That was step number 1. Step number 2 was label it. So what is step number 3? what is that equation? Okay, so we're going to plug it into negative b over 2a to find the axis of symmetry. So why don't you do that for me, Haley? Got minus what? All over 2 times. Okay. Haley, what's a negative 2 times a negative? All over, which is going to equal? Okay. So, CJ, what do I do next? I found my axis of symmetry. Perfect. I'm plugging 1 back into the original equation. So I go squared minus 2 minus 3. It's right here. Except instead of x, I put a 1. 1 squared gives me 1 minus 2 minus 3. 1 minus 2 is negative 2. Negative 2. 1 minus 2 is negative 1. Negative 1 minus 3 is negative 4. So right here, my vertex is 1, negative 4. Jalen, what do I do next? Excuse me? Make a table. And what numbers am I going to choose for my table, Jalen? Yes. 3 numbers to the right of 1. Then I just plug it into that same equation. 2 squared minus 2 times 2 minus 3. That's my original equation in standard form. Okay. We get 4 minus 4 gives me negative 3. 3 squared minus 2 times 3 minus 3. Again, if you put that in your calculator, you'll get this right answer. 9 minus 6 is 3. 3 minus 3 is 0. And then 4 squared minus 2 times 4 minus 3. So that's 16 minus 8 is 8. 8 minus 3 is 5. Now, what are we going to do, Melissa? What do we do next? I found my table. What do I do next? Graph. Up. I'm going to plot my points. First one I'm going to put on here is the axis of symmetry. I go over 1, down 1, 2, 3, 4. That's where my axis of symmetry is. Okay. Next I'm going to go over 2, down 1, 2, 3. Next I go over 3, down 0. And then I go over 4, up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here is half of my parabola. Okay? Remember, to make the other half, you go to your next one up. This is your vertex, so it's the bottom. So I go to my next one up. I went over 1 to get here, so I go over 1, but I'm on the same y. I went over 2 here, so I go over 1, 2 on the other side. I went over 3 here, up 5, so I go over 3 here, and it's on the other side. Okay? So, am I done? No, because you haven't told me where it crosses the x-axis. Where the 2 places it crosses the x-axis. Crosses the x-axis at what and what? Negative 1 and 3. Do not put negative 1, comma 3. That does not mean the same thing. That means a point on the graph, not where it crosses the x-axis. One more reminder, because a lot of people are getting number 10 wrong on here. Number 4 from yesterday. It's right on there. You can, when you turn in your writing, pick up an iPad, listen to yesterday's notes, and or use this special app.